America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Fantastic. At this time, may we have a roll call?
Yes. Chair Wrench,
Present.
Which one is this?
Vice Chair Stanley,
Here.
myself, Susan Lance, Alderwoman Day,
Here.
Commissioner Remington,
Here.
Commissioner Malecki,
Here.
Commissioner Kosler. Here. Non-voting, Leah Voss is excused tonight, and non-voting member ex officio Michelle Rente.
Here.
Kevin Schlater.
Here.
Principal Planner X.
Here.
Let's see, City Engineer Morrow, not here. Dale Burchard.
Here.
We can slide down if you wanna.
Oh, you want me to go down there?
No, we can all slide down.
No.
Push that chair out of the way.
I like to
It's more fun this way. Come on, Dale.
If you like it, I'm
might have got
totally
him at
cool
the
with it.
table.
I
Kevin
just
got
feel
kicked
like
out.
you're stuck on the corner, like.
Kevin got kicked out
Sorry.
Oh, did
off
he?
the table.
Oh.
You voted off.
There's room for everyone. Come on, just
Fantastic. I guess at this time, we would like to open the floor for if there are any citizens looking to make a comment.
I would just like to note that my son is here. Jackson, do you want to introduce yourself and why you're here?
Hi everybody, I'm Kristen's son. I'm here with just by myself, but I'm here for a merit badge for Troop 531. I'm just listening in. Good job.
Welcome, man.
Yeah.
Congratulations. At that time, we'll close the citizen comment period. We'll move to the approval of the regular meeting minutes from July 8th.
well, we would approve them, but there's two typos. In section 4, letter A, city engineer Moore is spelled wrong, correct?
Yeah, it should say Morrow.
Okay. And on the second page, letter E, the Aurora Trail proposal. In the third line, there's no R in the Aurora, so.
Catches. I make a motion that we approve the minutes with the two corrections.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Fantastic. The ayes have it. We'll keep plucking away on the list here. Unfinished business. Gentlemen, we have an update on the parks maintenance.
Yes. Grass cutting is very busy this year because of the amount of rain we have. So there's usually 2, maybe 3 guys on that every day, just keeping up with that. Brushing the trails. That's trails have grown a lot. A lot of trees have grown along the sides of the trails, so we've been brushing. They're usually on a 1, 2, or 3 year rotation, but Crooked Creek, 88th Street Bridge Trail, the Legend Bridge, Ernie Lake Bridge area, and a part of Verdenberg Park, just at the end of 88th Street. So those have all been brushed. At Franklin Woods, there was a roof leak in the bathroom building, and just fixed a couple things there. Changing table got vandalized, and some of the bathroom stalls, the locks on those. Excessive messes in the women's bathroom there. I don't know what's provoking that, or I don't know what, but in the women's bathroom, they're messed up real bad, and it's kind of disgusting. I don't want to go any
At
further
Kayla's?
than that. Yeah. So, I don't know if it's young children that don't know what they're doing, or little older kids vandalizing. I don't know. Can't tell, but that's been. Hopefully that'll go away soon.
Dale, can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
Is it more often than not the same day of the week? Is it something you notice after a weekend, or is it during the week, or?
Well, Ann does the weekends, and I found it during the week more.
Okay.
I mean, the past Not this last week, but the
No.
previous couple weeks.
Okay.
during
'Cause
the
I
middle of the
check-
week.
When I'm doing book editions, I always check the brooms and they're always clean. So it's nice to know if there's a trending on which days we're seeing
It's
that.
hard to know what time too, because I find it in
Right.
the morning. So
Okay.
they're open all night, so who knows when they're coming? It's hard to tell.
Have you guys considered putting like locks on them so they close automatically and lock for certain times, like time locks?
We could do that.
I know it's an expense, but
All the pavilions, we periodically have vandalism or something, so and locks them up at just manually at night. But then it goes away. The kids get older usually, and then
yeah.
we leave them open again. So, but we could consider that, sure.
That's at Kayla's, right? You were saying that?
Yeah.
And there's cameras there.
There are.
Have they reviewed any of the footage just for anomalies, like large groups of people or something out of the ordinary from the outside? I know they're not by the bathroom.
From what I know, it's kind of labor intensive to review the footage, so they don't really want to do that unless it's it's a known something got wrecked or something.
Okay.
So. Other than that, Legend, we had a broken railing at the Historical Society, so I had to take that all apart and bust the concrete out and straighten the railing and put it back in. There's a lot of little stuff that just takes time. Daily, just the cleaning and the keeping up with stuff daily takes 2 to 6 hours usually each day. So there's not many hours left to do anything else sometimes. And lately it's been a lot of stuff, little stuff just pops up. Like today, someone made slime at Kayla's playground and it was all smeared all over the tops of the tables where the holes are. So you can't clean that up unless you grab a pressure washer. And it was all smeared over the concrete.
I've cleaned it there too before, and it does take time.
So that kind of screwed up my whole, that takes 2 or 3 hours by the time you go there, and then you check the other parks as long as you got the pressure washer out. All my plans were kind of messed up today, so not much time to pick off, the projects on your list, so it's kind of frustrating at times. The group of women that we've talked about in the past that mess up the parks, I think they've officially found Pleasant View now, so they've messed up that park several times with their cakes and frosting and seeds and shells and all that stuff. So Anne is really frustrated, and I just like to say that Anne is a gem. She cleans the parks on the weekends. She locks the doors at night. She makes her rounds every night, and I don't know how we'd ever get another person like that. So we better not screw it up. So I guess when the ordinance was first brought up about having people have the ordinance in place where the police can give citations to people that don't have a permit. I was kind of against it, honestly, but now I'm kind of for it because these people are coming in all the time and just messing stuff up, and if we're not aware of it ahead of time, we just got to scramble to get it cleaned up before the rental, and it's just turning into a...
Are they doing craft projects?
Oh, there's stuff like that too. I can't even tell if it's a craft project. Sometimes it's paint, sometimes it's a slime, and I don't even know what they're doing anymore.
It's this new thing with marshmallow fluff, borax, and glue. And
Oh, to
our
make
ambassadors were out there when they were mixing it up, and I actually called the police. but-
Kayla's?
Yeah. And I called the police, but the police couldn't do anything because we don't have an ordinance. Clearly, they were
Well, he
having
was
a hard.
talking about Pleasant View, though.
Well,
These women.
they make the mess, but I guess with the food and stuff, they're smearing this the cake and the frosting
What is
all over the place. It's like they just let their kids run wild, but then they're
But
bringing
he's
the.
talking food.
So when they bring cakes and they sit at the tables, then they make big messes, is
But
that what you're saying?
Can't the police tell them you gotta clean up, you're causing a lot of extra work for, isn't there something on the signs about messes?
Well,
Clean up
I
your
mean,
mess?
Yeah.
common sense says you should pick up after yourself. That's what my mom told me. So, but you know,
Yeah.
is everybody getting taught that? I don't know. Doesn't appear so. But I guess my point is, when I first started working here, I wasn't involved in the parks, but there was a guy that was. And since I've been working here, we added Kayla's Playground, we added Pleasant View Park, we added pickleball courts, we added Ernie Lake Trail Bridge, we added a lot of stuff, and we still have the same amount of people. And so I guess, and I'm fine, I'm not complaining, but at some point you got to say there's a breaking point, and we kind of got to be low maintenance. So if we can kind of try to stop these people from making too many messes, we'll be fine. Otherwise, we got to add more people to clean it up. So I would really strongly recommend the ordinance or some other way to educate these people and you know, show them that that's not acceptable. You know. That's what I feel. So, or add more people. We just don't have. It's me and Ann pretty much. We have 16 guys in the DPW, and their highest priority is pretty much the roads to keep them safe. And I guess I would go to ask Kevin to verify that, but.
And I can only add to it that I will be cutting back on park maintenance, because I have to get more guys on the roads. So it's gonna even get worse.
We got a lot.
Unfortunately, I have.
I would hate to do an ordinance because a few people are spoiling it for everyone. But I don't know who can be there, who can talk to those people.
We
You know, I
try our
don't
best with the ambassador program, and I don't know if you see a difference with I mean, can you imagine with the ambassadors not being out there?
No, I've told you guys
Yeah.
that when the ambassadors are there, we've noticed a difference, and Ann has too. She's told me there's something different here. It seems to be cleaner.
Right.
So it doesn't make a difference when you guys are out there. So
Is it worth attempting, maybe not something as involved as the ambassadors program at Kayla, but is it worth maybe putting something out to like the neighbors in the area to have like sort of like a park ambassador, like, or people who volunteer to go in and kind of like check, and if they're seeing something going on, that then they would be able to call as they see that it's happening?
Like a neighborhood watch?
Kind of. I mean, just something. I don't know, because there seem to be a lot of people who frequent their neighborhood park. So, I mean, the calls that I get about the parks that are in District 4 are people who live right there and walk through those parks every day or whatever. So they're seeing the things that are happening all the time. So maybe it's worth putting out a call for volunteers if anybody's willing to be a volunteer park watcher or something, you know, just as they're walking through the park, if they see something, then they can call, you know, either DPW or the police non-emergency number, depending on what's going on. And that way it's more real time than you coming across something, you know, 4 or 5 hours after it happens and it's, you know, baked on. And
How about scouts? Neighborhood scouts going through the parks.
or like the high school that needs like civic
Volunteer
hours or volunteer hours or something,
Yeah.
you know.
I'm feeling like this is an agenda item to get after because we're gonna just fall into a discussion. We had the ordinance on the table and we declined to push it forward as a recommendation. And then
Do you want to bring it back?
I don't. I feel like we should get after a solution. We do have an agenda, we had an agenda item to make a recommendation for an additional parks person, right? To make a recommendation for another position, wasn't that right?
That was not on this current agenda, but it's come up under the discussion of budget before.
Right,
So
for budgeting for
Yeah.
another position. So we were getting after it with hearing you say you need people. And so of course we're gonna say there's need, because we hear it. We hear you saying that. But I think that we should put on the agenda something on the lines of like campaign. If we had visual information that validated it, so pictures of these messes, and then we can win over these hearts and minds of our ambassadors who want to volunteer to help put a stop to that. That might be a good initiative that we could get after as a commission.
The
And we
thing is,
could
the
curtail on
ambassador,
your-
the ambassador program only runs May through
Right.
Labor
When
Day.
summertime.
So summertime, which is the higher traffic time.
But they're not all over, they're only at Kalen's.
Right. That's what I mean. Like
We need like parks people,
yeah.
like a
It's
park,
hard to organize that though.
a
You know?
neighborhood parks people.
Yeah. It's hard to organize that, isn't it? I mean, we can coattail off of your experience, right? Because you have 20 ambassadors right now,
Which is our largest,
Right.
this year.
which is
But we
great.
partnered, with the school district.
Right.
So we have educators out there who are willing to.
And their school year is gonna start, so
Right.
they're
So we
effectively.
yeah. But we only run the program through Labor Day anyway. It's only during the summer.
It would be nice if we could have extended hours on the weekends after Labor Day. That seems to be the big problem, those 2 days each weekend. And again, the presence, once people know that there are people watching and paying attention, they tend to be a little bit more agreeable.
Well, that is the hope,
Yeah.
Yes,
right?
right.
Okay, I'm willing to do the research on that and get something together for next month. And let's see what we can put together then. It's, other departments must do this around the city, so
Yeah. it's
let's see if
almost
we can
like-
do it. It's not like we're the only ones that own parks in the Milwaukee area or something, so let's see what they're doing. I'll do the research on that, so I will volunteer to do that. And we'll come up with something simple.
Sounds good.
Like a
Agenda
park.
item, please.
Like a park watch kind of a thing, yeah.
like Friends of Park Watch, cleanup campaign.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Excellent. We'll move to letter B, park facilities reservation and permitting policies. Discussion of reservation policies for leagues and other groups, fees, rules, policies for parks.
Okay, so we kind of talked about that. I didn't make any changes. We did a little bit on that, but we didn't really make a lot of changes on it. So I think that's why I didn't do anything to it, because it wasn't enough. I think you just gave me some that you made changes on, or we made changes on, so
Or I
I'll
had
make those
questions on, yeah.
corrections, yeah. So, you guys can always email me and stuff with things that you saw. Everybody has that form in front of them. Just email me and I'll make the changes and we can go review them, if that's okay with you guys.
Okay.
And then on this little tennis pickleball courts, little chart thing, Dale gave me some corrections, so I made them. I don't know if you want a copy of it again, I just.
Oh, I made copies too.
Yeah, good, she has color copies, I don't have a color.
When Dale signs off on it, then this is ready to go on the website.
Okay, beautiful.
Was that in the packet tonight?
No.
No, okay.
I actually just did it today, I've been very busy, so.
So this will get added to the webpage.
Yep.
What webpage? What city of Franklin?
Yeah, under the
Yeah.
parks section. So the pamphlet should be posted now. And then this can also go there under.
So we're gonna put that one on too at the same time?
Yep.
Okay.
Are we separate now, Parks Department from Rec, or is it still?
It's
the
still, the wording on the website, actually, that's something I can check on. It has said over the years, Parks and Rec, even though the Recreation Department is separate. Did Kevin get one?
Is that someone can review and go over that stuff and make those changes, like?
I can request changes from the administrator that works on the website.
Okay.
So if you guys notice
Cause that
anything.
stuff is really old, yeah.
Yeah, and there's
even, yeah, the stuff that we did is a lot more updated than the stuff that's already there, but it's never posted, so. What?
No, I sent these suggestions. I didn't know if you wanted to use them or not. I guess.
I just did it.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
That's super helpful.
I just suggested saying multi-use courts. I guess for me it was too many asterisks.
No, so
in the last one. So
yeah, it's good. I just moved them in different areas, so it says the same thing that you changed.
I've shown some people this and they really like it a lot because a lot of them are like, what? I didn't know that. I can try over there, you know? So thanks, Dale.
On the
Because I
bottom
think
of
this was
this,
Thank her. She
it
does all the
says
work.
for questions, call the city clerk's office. Did we just give them a heads up that this is gonna be added to the website in case they get any phone calls on it, that they know that it's there?
We can certainly do that.
Okay, just in case. I don't know if they will, but just in case.
They actually, that reminds me that they asked me when the new pickleball courts will be open.
I don't know, but I know the contractor poured the rest of the concrete around curb around the courts. So all that's got to be done right now is to finish up the asphalt path that's been cut out.
Okay.
And put the coating on, finish up the fence, up the coating and the paint, and then finish up the fence and do the landscaping. So
the coatings aren't down yet?
they're what?
The coatings aren't down yet? Or
No, they weren't last week unless they did it today, but I don't think they did.
Are you talking coating? Is it the floor?
They'll put a coating on and then they'll paint it and then they'll put the
They
lines,
paint
lines
over
on.
it. I saw they power washed it last week.
Well,
The guy said they do that in prep for the painting.
It looked like a coating was on it yesterday,
Okay, what?
but the coating was on it. I don't know what it's supposed to look like, I guess, so can't trust me.
Well, eventually it'll be blue and green, just like the one up
It's
Well,
like
that's the
it's like the
painting, though.
undercoating that's on
Well,
there, right?
I don't know
Oh,
what
the
color that
undercoating,
is.
Yeah.
okay.
If it's black,
Like the
maybe
primer.
You can't tell between that and asphalt. So.
So we don't have a date.
I don't.
Haven't heard.
I think that's why on here I said in fall. We kept it kind of more open, just when it opens then you can play, and then but fall it'll be officially open.
So for next year.
Yeah.
Are we still on hold for the software?
I can talk about that. I submitted a request for the software. There's 2 items here for you guys. So for a capital request for this, actually today, so it was complete today, but there's I had requested quotes from a couple of different businesses. This was sort of the most expensive one. In some ways, the most useful one, but there's a different one that I'd recommend slightly more that I've gotten 2 different quotes and are both less than this. So this was what was submitted today. So there's a startup cost. There's a startup cost for installation and training. So year 1 would be a little bit more expensive, and then an estimated ongoing cost of about $6,000. But then all of the software packages that I've looked at have said, as your revenue grows, your cost for the software will also grow. So that's why it's only projected out the 2 years. So last year's revenue was about $35,000 in revenue for park permits, but I mean, it was just with pavilion rentals, not renting out any of the pickleball courts or anything like that. So it's pretty logical that the revenue will increase almost right away. So.
And so then your cost increases?
It does. So it kind of is on categories. It's like numbers of transactions basically that they have to process. So there's 2 that I'm recommending out of the 5 that I reviewed. And then I'd like to sit down with the clerk's office, DPW, and IT and go through those 2. But the CIP request was submitted today. So I only have the 1 quote because it was the one that I based the form off of, so. Are there any questions?
So are you saying it's $10,000 for a year?
The first year would be about $12,000. So that's the cost for the software and the cost to onboard the software. So installation, training, getting everybody up to speed, making sure that all the equipment is here, that kind of thing. And then the annual cost, the estimate was, $5,940 for estimating for future years. So I put $6,000 on the sheet.
So they're all pretty much about the same for
The
cost?
two that I'm recommending there are some that are significantly less expensive, but they are also significantly less robust. They either don't allow for online payment, or you can't control how the payment is processed. So one of the things that I think will be essential for the city to be able to do is to not immediately approve a reservation. That someone will have to review it when someone makes a reservation online in order to make sure that all the other pieces are in place. And there's only two that really offer that feature, and they're kind of the more robust ones. So I think it's Vermont Systems and then Civic Plus. So they're the two that I'm kind of 50-50 on.
Is Civic Plus on here?
No, I only gave you the sheet that I based this off of because they are the most expensive. So.
Is the transaction cost, it says here credit card payments are 25 cents per transaction. That transaction rate to be determined?
Yeah, so this is, we have our own credit card processing service, so I have to talk to Jim about how that would fit together.
Okay.
So all of these systems do have a way to make reservations online and make payments online. How they fit in with the city's website and with everything else varies a lot. So, but some of them do require that you use their processing software. So, and frankly, I wouldn't remember from the group which is which. So,
And who would the cost be, on the city or on the user? 'Cause sometimes you get charged for processing fees, that kind of thing.
I would have to double check. Some of them allow you to put the fee on the user, and some of them you have to build it in, basically. So that is, though, for the materials that were in your packet today with the pickleball reservation information. We'll have to start talking about what kind of fee folks want to charge if we're going to charge for those reservations. So.
We have a good baseline for that, but I think we need to get the cart behind the horse.
Right.
Yep.
So should we table that for the next meeting, the pickleball?
Yeah, I think we have to.
Yeah.
Then we should probably figure out if the other courts at Lions Legend are going to be open like October, or if this is, let's just wait until May.
It'll give us a winter project.
That is a good idea.
Yeah.
I mean, because you'd hardly get installed, but it would be a good idea to talk about it over the winter.
I think we might want to know the deadline for the rec department of when they start making reservations, right? So we could possibly get that information out with their spring
Catalog.
catalog.
Yeah.
So if we could get a date, that might be a good goal.
Okay. So typically, the clerk's office opens reservations for pavilions on the first of the year or whatever, right thereafter. There's a date that they open them very early in the year because there's some people that are like right there.
Sure.
But we won't have the software up and running at that point if the funding is for 2025. So,
Maybe spring, summer catalog.
yeah. Okay.
Fantastic. We'll move back to the agenda, and we will take a look at letter C, the budget. Parks Commission request for information on parks finances.
I expect to have a full financial report for you at your next meeting with updated financials, but the capital improvement sheet was my item for that for
today, so.
Okay. Excellent. Well, then we'll move right away to letter D, parks marketing materials. Marketing materials include maps, pamphlets, etc.
Okay, the map is gonna be in the city newsletter the next.
Yay!
Yay! It's actually gone through. They have
Oh,
the files.
wow.
It's all good to go. So yay. That'll
Nice
be
job,
good.
Karen.
We'll see what kind of
Thank you.
comments we get.
So
from
everybody's gonna get one.
that. Yeah.
Wow.
We
I get
get
one.
a lot of great feedback from National Night Out for
Yay.
Kayla's, our table there, and
Good.
even when we were handing them out at Kayla's Playground for the health department event. Yeah,
So
we
that
got
should
some really great
increase
feedback.
people going to the parks then. Not sorry.
No, it's good. It's good.
But,
Going the wrong way.
well, like you were saying before, with a new person, a new position would be awesome because, like Kristen did a little survey or whatever on what that position could kind of be and stuff. But I added some things to it, like volunteer opportunities, like start a volunteer parks volunteer program. Like we have one going there, but for an overall bigger city one. Fundraisers for the parks, that would be another thing that they could do. Like these are all things that if we had a new person, they could do that. Community partnerships are also very nice if they want to sponsor something in the parks. Events, if you can have more events at the parks, that at least you'd have a contact person to go to with these instead of the city clerks and stuff like that. So we're just trying to keep things away from the city clerks a little bit because they're a little overwhelmed. Someone that can help write up grants because there's a lot of grants out there for parks that we're probably not even, that people don't even know about, but there's a ton of them. Web and marketing, someone that can be in control of putting stuff on our city website and stuff like that and promote our parks and do that kind of stuff would be an awesome thing. So there's a lot of things this person can do, and even like sponsorships and stuff like that. There's like a long list of things that this person could do during the winter and spring, summer.
You hearing that, John?
Year round, that because we have so many parks now. Well,
Does that mean I get to comment back?
yes,
Sure.
yes, you can.
I'd love to comment on that. You know, we want to do everything we can to promote our city and to make sure we have the staff to cover it. Now, and Kevin knows this, is we're working with, and Courtney knows this, doing some reorganization because we know how desperately understaffed DPW is. 100% understaffed. We know that. But we have to find it from somewhere or else we've got to raise the levy. That means the taxes. And as Mayor Remington will attest, that's never a popular thing. So we're trying to do that to try to provide the service. So what we're doing with some reorging is that. Now, things that can get put on our website, that can go through Lisa Huning that's, works here. So we can work with her to put things on there and update them as far as that goes and communication goes for sure. Because she's the one that, takes care of our city quarterly newsletter. So she's, familiar with it and she can do what she can to put that in that format. So there's some solutions to your problems or questions, our issues as a city. So that's basically where we're going.
I think a lot of the staff are really overwhelmed. Even the Lisa, I think she's overwhelmed because we've been trying to get stuff and changes on the website, and it's not her fault. She doesn't know, but it doesn't always get there. Like stuff that we've done and approved, and it's just not there. So I'm thinking that she's just overwhelmed there too, just like the city clerks are, just like DPW. So
well, Lisa Huning, if there's an email that would go to Lisa with updates and requests and things, that email should also be copied to Kelly Hirsch, our Director of Administration, because Lisa answers to Kelly Hirsch. So if there's something that we can do to keep that going, because I definitely don't want to put anything more on anyone, but that's important what you're bringing up. So I mean, there's a balance.
right, because even Marion, I know she's really swamped with stuff too, and so and I understand that, and so we have stuff, but you make it and it never gets quite on there, and it's kind of frustrating. Someone should be putting more effort into it or finding the time to do that or help is needed for that.
And that's what I'm saying, the solution to that is when you're emailing Lisa, email Kelly Hirsch or myself, and I'll make sure we get the things on there. Because I definitely don't want to bring Marion and other planning staff members into any more projects and tasks because they have a lot going on.
Right.
A metric ton going on.
That's a lot of the push for this software upgrade because the infrastructure will hopefully alleviate some of the antiquated processes that they have to do in the clerk's office.
And a lot of things are antiquated here,
Sure.
a ton. And then everything we're coming upon, we're trying to fix, bring up to speed to make it more streamlined, to make it more efficient. So we are aware of a lot, we have a lot of intricacies that we're working on, but still, when you have something like that, send it to myself, Kelly, we'll get it done.
We're glad you're here because you can hear that we want to ride the wave with you. You know, the parks want to be involved in it and have our.
We do have a lot of parks and they are very beautiful, but people just don't know about them. They don't even know they exist. So I like to get the word out. Kind of why we're here is to get people to use these parks. But if nothing's going anyplace, it gets really frustrating on my end or any end.
Ken Wendell, which I live right down the road from, is busy every single day. I mean, that place is rocking from the tennis courts, the pavilion stuff is general use.
I never see those tennis courts being used. You must go by a different time of day than I do.
All different times.
Well, we're fans of parks.
Yeah.
It's nice that you're here to hear us.
It's great. I served as a
Well,
parks
also-
commissioner before I was an old.
I remember.
Right. Well, also we have another park that's just sitting there that someday it's going to be eventually developed, right? Yes, 2 of them actually. The
Right, the West Park.
Water Tower Park
And
is
Water
coming
Tower.
up, and then so that's more to add to this little deal here. I'm sorry, I'm a brat.
We're all in
But
this
it's-
together.
Did any of the parks material get to National Night Out, or was it just the Kayla's Park? You guys had your scavenger hunt people there, right?
I think that was the only.
That was the only one?
That was the
Yeah.
only, I was
Health
representing.
department.
We were representing the Parks Commission.
Another thing that we can work on is just to have a static display board, QR code it to whatever we get onto the website, and then we can put it up on a booth at any kind of city function. So we don't have to be present, because I know a lot of us are involved in a lot of things and can't be at all of them.
Right.
But I was at the National Night Out with Scouts, and I know it had been brought up, but we didn't have enough time to, generate a table. But what if we had a board? So I know we have graphic skills in this area, and once we get it onto the website, we can make up a poster or something that we can print for our marketing.
All right. All right, I'm good. Just putting it out there.
So
Excellent.
whatever in doubt, just send it to me. And I'll follow someone and get it done.
Okay.
For sure.
There we go. Well, we'll jump to the new business, community and event engagement. Future involvement in National Night Out, Trunk or Treat, Bike Rodeo, or other City of Franklin community events.
Yep, someone had requested, and I don't recall who, but I had made the note to put National Night Out on this agenda. I know it was last week, but it sounds like you guys are interested in event participation, so I kind of made a list of things that I know about. The Environmental Commission also participates in some of these events. So Trunk or Treat was an example from last year. But that's something that if you guys want to do that and you have materials to share, I mean, you can organize that, and then it can be included as, like, if you need help reaching out. Obviously, everyone seems to have their own contacts, and National Night Out is easy to get involved with. But so this is kind of a placeholder for you guys to talk about, like, what would you want to do with that? It would be, especially if you're thinking about engaging the community to recruit volunteers for a park watch, definitely one avenue to do that.
I agree.
So what, do we just send suggestions, or are we talking about it now?
So the way that the Environmental Commission typically handled this is they would make a suggestion about events that they'd like to participate in and put it on the agenda, discuss it as a group in their meeting, and then make a decision as a group whether or not they would represent at that event. So the commissioners were sending the event suggestions to me, and then they went onto an agenda. You made a decision, took a vote. They take a vote on their level of participation. That commission also has in the past put together a lot of like educational events about natural resources and things in the city. So they're not currently doing that work because the volunteer that did that the most isn't on that commission anymore. But they also would do those kinds of like proactive work creating the event, which is something that is specifically under their purview, but you could potentially collaborate with them on, or there's lots of options. So
do we have like a budget for? No budget. That's yeah. So like we're talking promotional stuff, but then we don't have a budget for any of this stuff. So
That's why I'm thinking one-time poster, you know,
Yep.
put laminate on the front of it, and then at a minimum, we get our information in there, right?
Yep, and the website, as the mayor said, Lisa updates the website, and it is relatively straightforward to do it, but only Lisa has the ability to do it. So that's something that you'd want to build in that lead time for, but that's a great idea for how to deal with not having printed materials. So
When is the next event?
I mean, the next thing I know about is probably trunk or treat.
Sure, so, okay. So if we want to do something, there's plenty of time.
That's it's October 26th. Kevin, do you know? Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Well, so it would be, I could put it on your next agenda.
Sure.
And
If we
then,
wanted to
okay.
put something together, we can.
right, it would help. I can do it. Just let me know what wordage you want on there. Like what do you want on this poster?
I can help you with that. Yeah,
With the QR code and stuff.
that's, yes, we can at least get them at a minimum to the parks page, right? 'Cause
Yep.
we have a parks page.
And I would
And
be
the
able
map.
to print like a small quantity of like 1 or 2 24 by 36 posters, just paper potentially,
Okay.
on the plotter.
On the
But
plotter, yeah. Okay.
yeah, we would have to be limited with that. So, because it's expensive to run and not in my department. So,
The hardest part about trunk or treat, not to talk about it tonight, but is the candy. Because it's expensive, and then like you have to supply your own candy, right, for your trunk. And with no budget, we'd have to look for some kind of donations, you know, so. But there is a potential for advertising at it too, because you put a little sticky on it or something, or, you know, so. Scouts put papers into Ziploc bags and gave out s'mores at the National Night Out, and it cost us $50, and we did 300, you know? So, small things like that, cheap. But get our info in with it too, right? That's the real candy.
Yeah, you can do a decent amount at like Sam's or Costco. You can get
Yeah.
a big, you know,
Okay,
it's pretty minimal.
all right.
Well, sometimes when you go to Sam's and stuff like it, you can ask for donations because we're obviously like a nonprofit, right? Yes.
the city is technically not like a C3, but they can accept donations. I'm not totally clear on how it works.
It's
So,
if it goes toward the public.
okay.
So like we can take in donations for Kayla's because it is for an entity for the public.
Yep.
Candy, I don't know if you'd be able to get away with that. So. But yeah, there is a way to take in money through the city as a 501c3 if it's being utilized for public use.
And is there a form for that and stuff? Is there a?
I have a copy.
Yeah, there's a.
Yeah. The city attorney had. I can share that with you.
Okay.
Can you
I can
share it with
that
me as well,
you.
please?
What about administrative items like address labels or toner for printing service, you know, like regular printer?
The materials that the commission receives are just out of the planning budget.
Okay.
So we could do like a limited run of 50 pamphlets or something like that. But when you get above and beyond that, it starts to add up. So
Sure.
yeah, I can talk to the planning manager about. We've talked about writing those kinds of marketing materials into our budget before for environmental commission, and it kind of didn't go anywhere. But I could certainly bring it up again.
Okay. I'm just curious if we had access to that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to do like small quantities of things for you guys, like, but it comes out of the planning budget. So
Okay.
Excellent. We'll move to.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, go ahead.
I know this is kind of an offshoot, but September 9th, I'd asked Marion to put on the ambassador recognition for our next agenda. Hopefully we have a quorum to have that happen, because I'd like to send out invites to not only our ambassadors, which is quite a few this year, but also to the district leaders, Dr. Jessica Moe, who was pivotal with that partnership, as well as some of the other teachers that have, kind of leveraged that.
Sure.
So I was hoping that we could get a quorum, or if you guys are available on September 9th, I'll go ahead and send out those invites. In particular, Chairman Wrench, are you going to be here?
Let me check. Or see if I have a game that day.
And I don't know if we want to have the Common Council chambers too. That was really nice when we had it in there
sure.
before. I mean, I don't want to be high maintenance or anything, but it was just really a nice venue to have that in there. Yeah, it's just a nice space.
I should be here right at 6:30.
Okay, so you can shake hands and.
I can try my best.
What's that?
I can try my best to shake hands.
Okay. I thought you're going to try your best to be here. All right. Thank you.
No problem. And then we will dive into the last item on the agenda, which is the Unified Development Ordinance.
Yep. So I wanted to just briefly update this commission on the progress of the process. That was incredibly hard to say. I don't know why I'm supposed to say that. Of rewriting our Unified Development Ordinance. So the UDO it's also what's sometimes referred to as the zoning ordinance for the city. It governs things like how subdivisions are made, where you can put things on properties, including in parks, the natural resource standards that you sometimes hear us talk about when we're talking about park design, and another number of other things related to the built environment and how the city uses the land within the city. And so I just wanted to make sure that you guys were aware of the project. We're approaching a point where we will have a final draft of that document. So there's the Unified Development Ordinance as written is currently on the website. Also available on the website is a link to an informational webpage about all of this. And I can send that out again. I think I did put it in this packet. But I would encourage you all to take a look at it. One thing to be aware of is that we're also drafting what we're referring to as natural resource, we changed the word for it. Natural resource like compensation standards. So if development requires that someone, impact a wetland, remove trees, those kinds of things, we are creating a set of options for developers to compensate for that loss. It's something that's required regardless, but one of those options would include potentially compensating for them on public land. So the city has previously received effectively funds from developers for trees in public parks. This would be codifying that and making it possible to do things like wetland restoration, et cetera, with credits. So when that compensation guide is drafted, which like I said, we're in the process of drafting that. I'll be showing it to you as well. So currently when those kinds of things happen, they go through the Environmental Commission as part of their review, and they make recommendations about what compensation looks like. Going forward, the mitigation guide will be something that they have oversight of, and then the variance process for natural resource impacts will look a little bit different, but it will affect potentially the parks and how some of the funding and some of the things that are in parks work. So it also does affect park design. So that's something to keep in mind, particularly the natural resource standards. So as we're getting to a point where we can start to actually design the Southwest Park, there's a lot of wetlands there. It's adjacent to the Oak Savanna, et cetera. So it's worth it to get familiar with the process. And the process that we went through for Water Tower Park took that into account. So if you guys have any questions about the process, though, I'm really hoping that the public will engage with the draft when we have gotten it completed and we'll have to go through a public hearing process. So there'll be an open house and then a series of public hearings because we're basically completely replacing a very large section of the city's ordinances with this new ordinance. There's a lot of carryover from the previous ordinance, but I mean, all of this is going to have impacts on how your park system is designed. And then once that project is complete, we can actually look at the comprehensive outdoor recreation plan, which you guys will definitely be involved in. So,
When was the last time this was updated?
2004, according to
the UDO, yeah.
20 years ago.
20 years ago.
Yeah, so we make periodic updates. Things have been changed occasionally, so we'll alter the text of the ordinance to update it in certain ways, but we have not fully redrafted the ordinance, and it is very much in need of.
So will you be sending us out the link or something so we
Yeah,
can
I
find
can send it out. So
Okay.
I'm mixing my metaphors here. I think I put it in a different packet item, so for a different commission, but I will send out
What are you sending out? The link to
links to the current Unified Development Ordinance and the website for the update process. So one of the things we expect to get online in the next month is we're working on putting together a map so you can see all of the different zoning districts in the city and how it will kind of translate to the new ordinance. So the how properties are used won't be changing, but the text of we're consolidating certain things and clarifying other things, and so we're actually reducing the number of zoning districts. The Parks District is remaining the same, but some residential districts are being consolidated. So,
and P District is combined with something else too. I can't recall off the top of my head.
it's just so it'll just be P for parks. There's also an institutional district, and we do allow park uses in institutional districts.
And that's also P, or is that's
I?
Okay, that makes
think.
sense.
Yeah.
The stuff that you did send us from the agenda, if you use that hyperlink in the agenda, there is the learn more button, and that one took me to the explanation of everything.
Oh, that I did put it here.
Yes, you did put it in
Oh,
there.
I didn't see it.
Thank you. But I only saw the draft one. I would assume, is it on the website?
Yeah, the
Right?
current
The
UDO
current
is
one,
on
right?
the city website. It's in under the whatever the button is on the leftmost corner of the menu at the top. The ordinances are there, and it's the municipal code and the UDO are all one big web page. So, but it's
the I want to button,
Yep.
and then the drop down and says view municipal code and ordinances. You click that, and then the top one is just Muni code. The bottom one is the UDO.
thank
Got
you.
it.
Yeah.
Thanks. And this
Right.
draft, all the highlighted stuff are the changes, is that correct? Or is there more changes that aren't highlighted in that? Because I noticed there is a lot of highlighting.
Yeah, I haven't looked at what's currently on this website in a while, but yeah, there should be wherever the draft was the last time it was updated. And there were certain sections that probably hadn't been written the last time it was updated, so that's what you would see is the way this process works. So just briefly to go back through what we've done so far. Is we went through a diagnostic of the whole ordinance and said, here's things that are duplications, here's things that are maybe out of alignment with federal, state law, case law, etc. Here's things that don't make sense, whatever. Some public engagement, and then we've been going through this drafting process. And unfortunately, because of the turnover in the planning manager position, that drafting process has taken significantly longer than anyone would have ever liked the two, but literally it's Regulo is the fourth manager to work on it. So but he's also been there since the beginning, so he's the best qualified person to work on it by far. So yeah,
It is a whole career field, really, but
Yep.
for the Parks Commission, what would you say were the areas we should focus on?
definitely the Park P1 zoning, and then I have been working on the process of drafting this mitigation and compensation guide that'll be coming forward, but there's not a draft of it yet. That isn't
So it's
available.
not out there?
Correct. Yep.
So is that to have like an inventory of ideas for how to spend money that comes in that way of like to put projects to it, or?
So the goal is to provide developers with a menu of options for how to go about compensating for the loss of natural resources. So one of the suggestions among that is that they can do, the menu already includes things like green infrastructure, wetland restoration, tree plantings, et cetera, et cetera. And yeah, if you have suggestions, by all means, I'm happy to hear them as well. If you have suggestions as well from your background, like the Environmental Commission has been giving direct input into the content of that compensation guide, but my expectation is that some of this will be impacting the parks in future, that it'll be a source of like someone wants to restore a wetland. And the best place for them to do that is in the Southwest Park, those kinds of things. So,
Okay, thank you for that clarification.
yeah.
Marion, does everyone have that binder, the corp binder?
That is
Because
a
I know
great
there's
question.
A few new members
Yeah.
that have.
Yeah.
Okay, who doesn't have a copy of the comprehensive outdoor recreation plan?
It should have been given to you as a binder.
Yeah, we have. I
I
have
did
it.
not get a binder, but I did get the plan.
You did? Okay.
I never
Just
got
you.
it.
Please.
Okay, sorry.
But you guys all have it, right? Okay.
And it is on the planning, under the planning section of the city website. There is a section that links to it, so the document itself is quite hefty. But I will print out a copy so you can write in it.
Thank you.
Yep. So. That was an oversight. I apologize.
Sorry.
Exciting.
Excellent. Well, if there's nothing else, I'll move to make, someone like to make a motion to adjourn.
Well, I do have one more thing.
Sure.
I just happened to be at a common council meeting where there was a split from Glenn's role and Kevin's role. So is Glenn sit on this commission anymore? Does anyone know that? Or does he sit on this commission?
I think he'll still be coming in.
Oh, he will. Okay.
He's just on vacation.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. All right. I just didn't know who to go to, like, for certain things. Because the roles were split, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Just
Excellent.
email the mayor.
Yeah.
He said to do that.
That'll work. Yeah. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Awesome. Believe everybody's in favor. We'll see you guys in a month. Thank you.
Thank you.